You are listening to Visionaries Wrestling Network, providing your perfect podcast experience.
M is for Mason.
G is for Graham.
B for Betcha.
This is the Mgb Wrestling Podcast, the podcast with PG-rated material accessible to wrestling fans of all ages. Hi, my name is Mason, and here's proof that wrestling fans still live with their parents, my co-host, my dad, Graham.
Alright, Mason. I didn't even know we were going to record this episode today, to be honest. We're on a snow day right now. It's Wednesday. We'd already put an episode out on Monday. We put it out early because we watched the Flying V Theatre, their debut promotion. So I was just putting it on the TV for you to watch. And I suddenly realised after you'd finished, I saw you put your notepad on the side. I was like, oh, no, that's fine. We have a snow day, so we had time. I just didn't really even think about it. I wasn't going to put anything out also because we also featured on the Why We Watch podcast as well, which also came out today as we're recording. So I was like, we don't want to have too much stuff out. But I think there's going to be a gap. We put it out on Monday. Theirs came out on Wednesday. We're going to be out Friday. So every couple of days we've got something. So there's a bit of a gap there anyway. I guess they'll keep this one fairly short then. But go ahead. So actually, we did watch the Royal Rumble as well. We should give some context. We did watch the Royal Rumble, and then you just watched the highlights for Raw, and you watched the highlights for Smackdown. I actually watched the whole thing for Smackdown. I thought with being a snow day, you were going to come down. I was watching Smackdown. I watched the whole hour and a half version. So anyway, all right. What about your first moment then from Raw?
My third moment is Road Dogg and Jeff Jarrett sing a duet. Jeff Jarrett was on the Royal Rumble.
He was.
And I forgot that he brings out a guitar.
That was his big thing. Before Elias, that was when I started watching wrestling, pretty much. I remember that was Jeff Jarrett's thing. I think he was Double J. I don't know if it was WCW, I'm not sure. But that was pretty much his thing. Every match, you knew he was going to get a guitar. It was the thinnest guitar you ever saw, and he would smack somebody on the back, and it would split up.
And the thing about you smashing other people with guitars, you'd probably get smashed with a guitar more than anybody else. Because you're the one using it, you'd probably get backfired more than you hit anybody individually.
I don't know. They seem to splinter pretty easily. There is definitely potential. I notice he wears glasses now, so that might be a good protection thing to...
So, like, you could hit Matt Hardy twice, but then you probably get hit, like, 13 times your whole career.
Now, I don't think I realised this. I remember I did actually watch the Hall of Fame last year for the first time, and Jeff Jarrett was inducted. I didn't realise at the time the person who was with him was Road Dogg. Now, I might not have been paying attention. Or perhaps I realised at the time, and then since then I'd forgotten it was Road Dogg. And when he came out, I was like, oh, that's the song they did at the Hall of Fame. I remember those two were singing together for that one. What do you think about Elias? I heard somebody talking about, it sounds like a heel turn.
Oh, I don't think it's a heel turn.
He was being very negative. He said, I'm not going to sing anymore. I think that would be a big mistake if he stopped singing songs.
Yes.
I understand that he wants to be a serious wrestler, and I think he has the potential for that, but I still want to hear him sing.
Yeah.
I still want him to come out with those sarcastic comments. No matter how much negativity he came out with, particularly at the Royal Rumble, people just wouldn't boo him.
Yeah.
They just love him. They're like, you can say something negative, and now they're like, hey! All right, what about number 2 then for you?
My number 2 moment is Nia Jax sees Samoan dropped Alexa Bliss and Mickie James at the same time.
We've seen a few of those recently. I'm trying to think. I think Ronda also did it with both Bellas. And I know there was a WWE
I saw
Top 10.
somebody do. I think it was Natalya put Lacey Evans and Ember Moon in a sharpshooter.
Oh yeah, there was a double.
I don't think it was Ember Moon though. I think it was, or I don't know. I know Lacey.
I know the moment you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it was definitely Natalya. Yeah, there's a lot of those. They look really cool.
And when Ronda Rousey, she got 2 people up on her back, and then she did, like, I don't know, whatever her move was. It looked a little bit like a Samoan drop.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never remember what that's called. She gave it a specific name that no one else seems to really use, but yeah, she picked up 2 people there. My first moment is Michael Cole said that Seth Rollins beat 20 other men on Raw. He didn't say 20.
He said, no, 29.
That's not what you said.
Oh, he beat 29 other men.
And to begin with, I was like, yeah.
No, he didn't. Did Nia Jax come in?
Nia Jax did come in, yeah.
See? That's 28 other men and 1 woman.
So actually, he made the same mistake twice.
Yep.
Because that was originally, while we were watching the Rumble, you commented on that. And then when obviously they're doing the summary again, he said the same thing on Raw again.
Yep.
So yeah, I got to give you kudos to that. I'm going to record a Good Cop, Bad Cop later, and I'll definitely be giving you credit for that one as well. That is a bad cop moment. That's a pretty easy one to spot as well. Everyone was talking about Nia Jax in that. What did you think about having Nia Jax in the Royal Rumble? I know we're talking about Raw specifically, but what did you think about that?
I didn't like that she took her R-Truth's spot in the Royal Rumble that he earned.
I agree.
But I like that they're pushing the women a little bit.
I would have been happier if they, instead of put her in at 29...
Yeah.
rather than 30. But yeah, I thought the same thing. But perhaps when we get to SmackDown, unless it's one of your moments, it all came good in the end. But I didn't like it when I was watching it on Sunday, that's for sure.
And another thing is, Titus O'Neil, I really liked how he slowed down as soon as he was coming up to the apron.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Now, that's obviously your 3 moments from that. What about, when we didn't talk about this and we didn't write it down, because, like I said, I don't think we're even going to record this. What about top 3 moments, then, from the Royal Rumble, then? So, that's obviously one of them that you just said. So, Titus, I thought that was cool as well, that he was acknowledging it. Everyone was having a laugh about it. It was a nice little jokey moment. I thought it broke up the tension a little bit.
And the Nia Jax moment was definitely huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I still didn't watch the Finn Balor match yet.
It's nothing special.
Oh, okay.
Brock destroys him.
I like
Finn
that.
Balor leads for 10 minutes, and then Brock just suplex, F5, wins, and then he just destroys him even more, just to rub the point home that, hey, I won. I once I knew the result, once I saw like 2 minutes of the highlights, I was like, I don't want to watch this match.
Yeah, there was some cool. I liked the save from Kofi Kingston. That Naomi and that Casey person.
Yeah, I don't remember Casey's last name. That's all I remember from. I know she was like the Warrior Woman or whatever it's called. I can't remember what that competition's called. They were very good. My only problem with those saves is
Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior. There you go. Thank you. All the saves. As soon as they make those brilliant saves,
exactly.
Every single person within 30 seconds was eliminated.
Yes.
Naomi.
They always do that.
Naomi was great. I actually thought that thing she was walking on could have given way. And anyway, she managed to get on there. That was a huge jump she made onto the steps.
Yes.
And then Mandy Rose comes and just drags her straight to the floor. It's like, ugh.
It reminds me of Shane's Coast to Coast. Some of those are crazy.
There was some, but no, there was some really inventive saves. I think as soon as Kofi comes in, you know that something like that's going to happen. But yeah, I thought those were definitely some key moments from that as well.
Yeah.
All right, time for another round of Are You Smarter Than a 4-Year-Old? And we got a special guest for Jackson this week, Mason. So you just get to play for fun this week. We have Darren. Dej Kirkby's with us today.
I certainly am. Hello.
How are you doing this fine day, Darren?
I'm doing okay. Very, very hyped up for TakeOver tonight and obviously Royal Rumble tomorrow. Yep, it's going to be a good weekend.
So we're recording on the end of January. We actually just recorded episode 2 of Why We Watch Pod, and I think this episode will probably be coming out probably early February, we're hoping. So, so we'll obviously know what happened with the Royal Rumble at that part. Now, for your quiz today, I was going to do, because I think you're from Burnley, is that right?
I am, born and bred.
Yeah, I was thinking of actually doing Burnley soccer players, and I couldn't really think of which wrestlers to pick. It probably would have just been random wrestlers. And we actually have done soccer players with a couple of other people now. So I went on a different theme. I thought about Lancashire, and that also made me think about the Is It Over Yet podcast, who is from Yorkshire. And that got me immediately thinking of the War of the Roses. And as soon as I started thinking about that, I started thinking of wrestlers whose name have Rose in them. All right, Mason, what wrestlers do you know whose name's got Rose in it?
Aspen Rose.
Aspen Rose, correct. Yeah, any others?
Adam Rose.
Embarrassingly, I thought of Aspen Rose as I was driving home last night, and I was going to include her in the quiz, and totally forgot this morning when I was doing it.
Adam Rose.
Adam Rose, very good. Any others?
No.
Really? I'm surprised. All right, Darren, what wrestlers do you know whose name's got Rose in them then?
Rosa Mendez.
Oh, there was. I forgot about Rosa Mendez, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I thought one of you guys would have
Dean
mentioned...
Ambrose.
Oh, you're too good. You're way too clever for this quiz right now. I'd not even considered that.
Ronda Rousey.
Can we just scrap this quiz and do it in a week's time? They're way better ones than I came up with. I'm really shocked, though. Neither of you mentioned Mandy Rose, though. I thought that would have been a fairly obvious one. All right, you're pulling a face right now. All right, so we're thinking of, you finally figured out who Mandy Rose is? Yeah, the female diva who's on
the
female...
attacks Naomi.
There you go. You got it. So for those of people who don't know, Mason, this is your English history lesson. Okay, the War of the Roses was a battle for the English crown between Lancashire and Yorkshire. So as Darren is from Lancashire, I thought we'd do a wrestling War of the Roses. Okay, so I managed to come up with 4 people who've got Rose in their name, only one of whom you knew or mentioned. You guys came up with much better ones than I did. And you got a multiple choice answer. Okay. All right, we'll start with the first one that you did say, actually, Mason. We'll start with Adam Rose. That was the first one that came to mind for me, okay? He was born in South Africa, and when his work visa cleared, he debuted for Florida Championship Wrestling, which was kind of like NXT before NXT. In his first match, and we're going to let Darren go first, okay, because you're only playing for fun. Did he face Kurt Hawkins or Darren Young? You like how I pick somebody that's got Darren in the name, like we try and pick Jacksons and things like that? I like to mess with people like that.
I don't think you would have mentioned Darren Young if it wasn't actually the answer, so I'm going to go with Darren Young.
Okay.
Kurt Hawkins, because you said that you wouldn't pick him as if you picked him as not right.
Oh, so you're playing my psychology game against me now. Oh, I like how you think, young Mason. Correct. You got the first one right, Mason. It was Kurt Hawkins. Second question. Now, was his name in that match Johnny Curtis or was it Ray Lepan?
Right, Johnny Curtis, I'm sure, is a different wrestler, so I'm going to go for the other one, Ray Lepan.
Ray Lepan? Okay.
I'm going to go for Ray Lepan because the other one sounds a little too much like Hawkins.
Curtis?
Yeah. Curtis.
Oh, I see.
I
see.
No.
With it being Kurt Hawkins? Okay, I see. You were right, Darren. Johnny Curtis is actually Fandango. So you were both correct on that one. It was the other name, Ray Lepan. And he actually changed his name after 1 week, it said. So he moved on to something else. All right, let's move on to Mandy Rose. So on the 6th season of the WWE competition Tough Enough, did she finish first, second, third, or fourth? Now, I didn't even watch these at all, so I've heard them talked about.
I can't see her being first. I'm going to go third.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going third.
She was second.
Oh.
So close. And the person who won, I've never actually even heard of. I did look her up, and then she won a year's contract with WWE, and then after a year they released her. And she's currently training somewhere in Florida, I read. Now, Mandy Rose was actually the first woman who was eliminated in the first Women's Royal Rumble. But who eliminated her? Was it Lita, or was it Trish Stratus?
I don't think Lita came in that early. I'm going to go Trish Stratus.
Yeah, Lita.
It was Lita, correct. We're on Royal Rumble weekend, and it was just perfect that the fact that I looked up about Mandy Rose and it mentioned the Royal Rumble. So, yeah, she was the first person who was ever eliminated. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, Mason, you might have an advantage on this one, actually. I didn't know you were going to take part in this either, so... Jenny Rose. Now, we actually saw Jenny Rose at Fury Pro Wrestling, and she's also on Ring of Honor as well. Mm-hmm. So, in her last match of 2018, Jenny Rose defeated which wrestler who we saw, Mason, at the first Flying V wrestling event on January 2019? Was it Kimberly or was it Samantha Heights?
Oh.
I think you should go first on this one, Mason.
We saw both of them.
That's the whole point.
I know. But Kimberly, I don't think she was ever on Fury Pro. So
no, I said Ring of Honor. It was a Ring of Honor match.
Okay. Samantha Heights.
Okay.
No, Samantha Heights isn't on Ring of Honor, so Kimberly...
Actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't that. It was actually something like AAW.
Oh, okay. Samantha Heights then.
Okay.
Kimberly.
Mason, you got it. It was Samantha Heights. It's lucky it's not just you versus Jackson, because you'd be pulling back that lead pretty well right now. You're doing pretty well so far. All right, Jenny fought for the Ring of Honor, Women of Honor World Title Street Fight against Kelly Klein in early January 2019. That was why I got the facts mixed up, because I knew I had something. Was the match fought in Georgia or North Carolina?
Georgia's her hometown, I think, so I'm going Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Georgia as well.
It was North Carolina. I actually looked about traveling to that match because it was actually right near where I used to live as well. So I was really tempted to go to that one. And I actually thought we'd have one more question in. I found one more wrestler as well. Nyla Rose, who I hadn't actually I don't think I'm familiar with her at all, but she's actually from Washington, D.C., Mason. So I was like, well, I got to include that now. One of her trainers is listed on ProWrestlingFandom.com as someone, Mason, who we have talked about on Nova Pro. So is her trainer Dominic Guarini, John Kerman, or Money Green?
Money Green.
Okay.
I think I have an advantage on that because I know, well, Money Green, he has his own training facility.
I'm going to agree with Mason, Money Green.
And you should know that as a psychological quiz profiler, why do you think I included Money Green? Because I knew that you would get to pick that one. John Kerman. It was the Kerminator. So actually, no, I'm afraid you both got that one wrong. All right, final scores. Well, you were only playing for fun, Mason. You got 4 out of 7. Darren, I'm afraid you got just 1 out of 7, sir. Jackson has not recorded his answers right now, but it's...
I'm definitely not smarter than a 4-year-old.
We certainly appreciate you putting him over. You will find out the exact result when we record this, but I think for all intents and purposes, unless he's very, very unlucky, I think you can assume that Jackson's probably won this one.
Definitely.
All right, do you want to give us all the details for your podcast, where we can find you on Twitter, and all the social media plugs?
I certainly will. You can find my and Mike's podcast at Why We Watch. You can find me at DEJ Kirkby, that's Dej Kirkby, or you can search for Mags, they usually come up when you do that. And you can find my co-host, Mike, at Mike_Arrant.
I think that should take care of it brilliantly. Thank you so much for doing this. I know Jackson appreciates it. He always likes having a challenge. His brother's normally too easy to beat, so it's always good to get some outside talent in.
I don't think
to do
much of a challenge with the answers I've given.
Both of them.
And I also like to wind Mason up, as you just saw. All right, thank you so much, Darren. Bye. You jigging yourself up there? All right, you ready? All right, Darren's already recorded. These are all about people whose name is Rose, okay? Now, you might not have heard of these wrestlers. Have you heard of Adam Rose? You have? Okay, all right. Was his first match against Kurt Hawkins or Darren Young?
Darren Young.
It wasn't. It was Kurt Hawkins. All right. Was his name in the first match, was he called Johnny Curtis, or was it Ray Leppin?
Ray Leckman.
Correct. You got one correct. Have you heard of Mandy Rose?
Nope.
All right. On the 6th season of a competition, did she finish first, second, third, or fourth?
Fourth.
It was second. And did she get eliminated in the 2018 Royal Rumble by Lita or Trish Stratus?
Trish Stratus.
It was Lita. Okay, we're on to Jenny Rose now. In her last match of 2018, did she fight Kimberly or Samantha Heights?
Samantha Heights.
It was Samantha Heights. That's 2 you've got. In her Ring of Honor World Title match, was it in Georgia or North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Correct. Last question. Nyla Rose, is her trainer Dominic Guarini, John Kerman, or Money Green?
Money Green.
It's not. That's what Mason said as well, because he does training. It was John Kerman. All right, Jay, you got 3 out of 7. Darren got 1 out of 7. So who's the winner?
Me.
Correct. Good job, buddy. High five.
Dad, how much did Mason get?
I don't remember actually how many Mason got, because he was just playing for fun, really. So I'm not sure. But you were playing really against Darren, so you got to win.
Dad, did he get 2 correct?
Mason got more than 2 correct, but I don't remember how many you got.
2 out of 8.
Well, there were 7 questions.
Maybe 2 out of 1.
I don't. 2 questions out of 1? That would be pretty impressive. All right, you want to say bye?
Bye!
Jackson, that's going to be so loud. All right, thank you. All right, so that was, we want to thank Dej Kirkby for doing that for us, and let's move on to our top 3 moments then for SmackDown for this week. All right, so what was your third moment?
I hope that, my third moment is Otis Dozovic. He does the worm across the whole ring.
He's done that before as well. It's definitely an homage to Scotty 2 Hardy. I like it. We saw it at Nova Pro as well. I think it was it Bro that did that? Bro Keller?
I don't know.
Oh, perhaps I saw that. Perhaps that was one you weren't there at. And I think then they did it one more time. But yeah, I like the Worm. I think it's good.
Oh, I sort of remember it now. The Worm.
Yeah.
I think somebody...
Actually, it was Bro Keller, because I said he did the WRM, and you said, did he do SAFE for safe, because he was part of the safety squad. And I was like, oh no, but that was a really good idea.
Yeah. My number 2 moment is R-Truth gets a U.S. title shot with Nakamura. He wins that from what happened with Nia in the Rumble. And then he has to fight another match with Rusev, and he wins that.
I gotta admit, I had emotions through this one. One, I was happy when he actually had that chance. So I was like, all right, that's fair. I don't even know if that balances that up. 30 in the Royal Rumble is a huge advantage. I don't think they would have ever let him win the Royal Rumble, but that's a big opportunity. So to give him a title shot, at least is something. I thought that was fairly nice of them to do that. And then when he won it, I was like, great. And then when Rusev came out, I was like, are you kidding me? Exactly. You're going to let him hold it for like 30 seconds and he's going to lose it. And he didn't. He won it. I liked it. I thought it was really good. He was obviously suffering a bit backstage later, and the trainer's trying to put some ice on him. And he's like, I'm good. I'm like the US champion. So I thought that was a nice way to end that story. So, yeah, no, I like that moment too.
My number 1 moment is I really hope that new WWE Heavyweight Championship belt is permanent.
Why?
I like it.
Why? You
I just like it.
As in, you like the look of it, or you like the fact that it's made from hemp, or that it just looks.
I don't even know what hemp is. Type of wood.
The type of material they used to make that.
I really like the look of it,
okay.
Especially the wood. I hope they're using it permanently.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I forgot. I was just trying to finalise up all the stuff I'm going to talk with Matt later, and I actually had a Devil's Advocate, and it was based on that belt. Oh. And I couldn't remember what it was. So I had a different one that I came up with, and I was like, oh, I guess that's it. And I'd totally forgotten. So you just reminded me of an important thing that I need to change in a second. I liked it as well, actually. I thought it was different. Some of the people online were very sniffy about it, and they didn't think it was... I think anything that's different helps it to stand out.
Yeah.
One of the toughest questions I keep hearing people post on Twitter for different people, particularly like View from the Top Rope, is like, what's your favourite championship belt? None of them ever stand out to me. Yeah. The only one I ever remember is the Spinner.
Yeah.
But besides that, I can't tell you about any other belt. Like, I don't know the names of them, I don't know anything. But that one, at least, it looked different.
I like it.
I like the idea that they were going to throw the original one in the trash can. I think they actually did.
Yes, they did.
You know for sure that as soon as that segment ended, somebody got that out, because they were thousands of dollars. There is no way that they threw that away. And I'm sure the next champion is going to want the proper belt anyway. Mm. Even though he said online he was going to hold it for... not online, on the segment, he was going to hold it forever. I'm like, I don't think so. Sounds like that's going to be tough anyway. What do you think about having to face all those people in the Elimination Chamber to defend his title as well?
And another thing about the Elimination Chamber is how are you going to have, like, a whole tag team in there? Are you going to have 2 people stuffed in one pod?
I don't know. I thought is it tag team? I thought it was singles. I thought it was Daniel Bryan versus everybody else.
No, for the women tag.
Oh, for the women's one. Yeah. That don't know. I'm sure they could.
Yeah.
I'm sure they could fit in.
I hope this is Mustafa Ali's moment.
Could be. So that's your prediction right now?
Yeah. I feel like for the mixed match challenge, like Mustafa Ali and Naomi should tag. Don't they all have glow?
Well, Naomi's always with her husband.
I know, but don't they have, like, glow?
Oh, in terms of his... Yeah, he has, like, that mask like DJZ has. So, yeah, they... Yeah,
and Wheeler Yuta.
And Wheeler... Yeah, I can kind of see that. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, that's possible. All right, I'm trying to think who I thought was going to win that match. I don't know. That's so tough, all of those. I am impressed with Mustafa Ali, though. I thought he put up a good performance in the Rumble as well. I would like to see Mustafa Ali win it.
Yes, me too.
I just wonder, is it too early? I don't know if they're going to let him win.
It's too early.
I don't know if they're going to let him win quite that early. And are they finally going to give Samoa Joe something as well? Like, how many losses has he had now in championship matches? He's like 0 for 6 or something. Like, think how many times he lost to AJ? I don't know. He lost to Brock. Yeah, he's just not had. He's not had anybody. Has he faced Brock?
Yeah.
Oh, was he on Raw? Oh, I lose track of when they were on that one. Oh, and then he switched? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. All right. Any more moments for Raw, SmackDown, Raw Rumble?
No, not not really.
Alright, I think that does it for us. I know this is going to be a much shorter episode than normal, but like I said, I wasn't particularly planning on anything. I didn't really write anything down for this either, because on Good Cop, Bad Cop, I'm going to be talking about the Royal Rumble, so I was just watching it more for keeping up with the stories this week a little bit. But
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
The music was ZigZag by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0, http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0/